Hey everybody, welcome back to the program. Now I am very excited because normally I don't get albums before they release, but this time I lucked out and I am so very appreciative. But Craft Recordings sent this along to me. They, along with Prestige, put together this fantastic 8 LP box set. I don't know if box set's the right term, but this is a massive album with a 40-page book written by Grammy Award-winning historian Ashley Kahn. And this is in celebration of Prestige Recordings' 70th anniversary. It's also coming out in Jazz Appreciation Month, April, and it's just a celebration of John Coltrane, and it's really a specific look in time, 1958. This is considered to be a breakout year for John Coltrane, sort of him coming into his own as a successful jazz musician and band leader, and so this represents all 37 tracks that he recorded for Prestige back in 1958, and they're ordered chronologically. So it starts in January and ends in December, which I really like that. It kind of gives you a historical time capsule view of what he was doing, because fortunately, unfortunately, the way Prestige handled his recordings, they slowly released these over the years. So by like 1963, John Coltrane, the current John Coltrane of that time, was a very different musician. However, these recordings were still coming out, which was kind of confusing if you were a jazz enthusiast at that time. And I'm getting a lot of this information from the included booklet. It is fantastic. I mean, no doubt. Ashley Kahn is an expert in John Coltrane, in jazz music, and so he gives a wonderful context to these recordings, not only going track by track, but giving an overview of what led to these recordings, what John Coltrane was doing prior to these recordings, and what he would eventually go on to do, and sort of gave them a historical context of what they meant to the listening community, which I just found it so educational. And as you guys know, I love history and I love learning about how things came to be. And one of the interesting things I picked up on that I never knew before is the term sheets of sound. And I love that term. And it was used to describe his type of playing. And I have to imagine other musicians who were also playing in that same sort of furious note style of playing. And what I like about it is, because I always struggle of how to describe music using words, because, you know, it doesn't always work, but sheets of sound is so brilliant, because that's exactly what it is. It's just a fury of notes just cascading over chord changes, and sometimes playing faster than the rhythm, you know, 16th notes, that sort of a thing. And what was interesting is that, of course, I knew there was a time when musicians didn't play like this, but I never thought about what it must have been like to hear this for the first time. And reading through Ashley Kahn's words, it really gave me context to that time period. And I love that. And 37 tracks is a lot to dive into, no doubt. I am barely scratching the surface, but it is such a joy to listen to this. Now, the good news is that it is on vinyl. However, it was digitally sourced, so the original master tapes were transferred digitally, cleaned up, and then mastered onto vinyl. So that being said, they do sound fantastic, but for sticklers out there, that may be a turnoff. But I still say this is a fantastic pressing, dead quiet wax, just gorgeous to listen to. Well, of course, this is a must-own for any John Coltrane fan out there. And if vinyl's not your speed, there is a CD version that came out in 2018, as well as it's available on pretty much any streaming services. And so, however you want to check this out, really do yourself a favor and listen to it, because it is just fantastic music. John Coltrane is one of the best musicians who ever lived in the recording era, and to have something like this to really do his recordings justice is just fantastic. And what better day than today when this thing comes out, this vinyl edition comes out, and it's on Jazz Appreciation Month. It is very, very special. So I want to thank Prestige Recordings and Craft Recordings for sending me this. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it so very much. And just keep in mind, this isn't a sponsored video. My opinions throughout this piece were my own, and honestly, I didn't have to make this video, but because this thing is so fantastic, I just had to share it with all of you. So with that said, I want to know what you think of this box set. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your favorite John Coltrane album, and let me know your favorite track off of this release. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey everybody, thanks again for checking out this video. Now if you want to see more John Coltrane, check out my first impressions of the Lost album I put out last year, as well as a video that YouTube will choose for me. If you like what you see, I put out new videos every Tuesday and sometimes, like today, on a Friday.